They laughed when she said she wanted to fly. They mocked her when she applied to flight school, saying she wasn't cut out for the skies. But when her mysterious F-47 roared into the air one summer morning, the same people who denied her fell silent in awe and fear. Because what she did next wasn't just flying. It was rewriting the rules of aviation forever. If you love real-life revenge stories, unbelievable turnarounds, and tales of humble people who rise higher than anyone imagined, stay tuned. You're about to witness one of the most shocking underdog stories ever told. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up. This flight's about to take off. Clara Hensley was an unassuming woman from Willow Creek, a quiet town wrapped in hills and gossip. She spent her days at a small mechanic shop, fixing engines and tuning tractors, her hands always streaked with grease. The townsfolk saw her as simple, someone who lived small dreams and smaller ambitions. But behind her calm eyes lived something fierce, a fascination with the skies that had burned since childhood. Every day at noon, she would pause work just to watch the commercial jets streak overhead, disappearing into the clouds. She dreamed of being up there, guiding a craft through the air, feeling the world drop away beneath her. But dreams like that didn't belong to women like Clara, not in Willow Creek. When she applied to the regional flight school, they didn't just deny her, they ridiculed her. No formal degree, no military background, limited resources. The rejection letter was cold, impersonal. But the whispers that followed were worse. They said she should stick to what she knew. That night, she sat on the porch, letter in hand, watching the horizon fade into indigo. Something inside her shifted. If no one would give her a chance to fly, she'd find her own way. And so began her secret project, a journey that would span years. Clara started buying old aircraft manuals from thrift stores and scrap markets. She studied flight dynamics, aerodynamics, and engine design by candlelight. The world didn't know it, but she was building something. Not a dream, but a machine. By the third year, the rumors began. Locals claimed to hear strange noises from her workshop, metal grinding, turbines whining. Some said she'd gone mad, obsessed with impossible ideas. But one night, lightning illuminated the valley, and for a brief moment, neighbors saw something hulking under a tarp in her yard. A massive shape with angular wings and riveted panels. Whatever it was, Clara was getting close. As the months passed, she started gathering more materials. Parts from junkyards, surplus engines, even aviation scrap from old hangars. Every bolt, every wire had a story. She built through winter, through heat waves, through loneliness. Then one morning, her workshop fell silent. The next day, Willow Creek woke to the roar of an engine that no one had ever heard before. A sound that made windows tremble and hearts race. Clara Hensley, the simple woman, had finished her creation. The F-47, and soon, the world would see it fly. Word spread fast. Some said Clara had built a death trap, others said she was crazy. But curiosity won. When she towed the F-47 to the old airstrip on the outskirts of town, a crowd gathered. The aircraft was unlike anything they'd ever seen, sleek but improvised, a patchwork of engineering brilliance and stubborn willpower. Its silver body gleamed under the sun, reflecting the disbelief of every onlooker. Clara didn't speak. She simply climbed into the cockpit, adjusted her headset, and started the ignition. The F-47 coughed once, then unleashed a thunderous roar that shook the ground. For a second, it seemed impossible. The wings trembled, dust flew, and then, against every expectation, the plane lifted off. The crowd gasped as it ascended smoothly into the morning sky, slicing through the clouds. For the first time, Clara was where she belonged. Up there, every insult, every rejection dissolved into silence. But what shocked everyone most wasn't just that she flew, it was how she flew. The F-47 performed impossible maneuvers, banking at angles no small craft should endure. It rolled, looped, then dived before stabilizing, showing off balance and precision that no untrained pilot should possess. Cameras rolled, and within hours, the footage was online. "Homemade jet takes off in small town." The headlines spread like wildfire. Clara became a sensation overnight. Engineers, journalists, and aviation experts demanded answers. How had she done it? What was the F-47 made of? But Clara kept quiet. She wasn't chasing fame. She was chasing freedom. Still, her success didn't sit well with everyone. The regional flight school that had once denied her issued a public statement downplaying her achievement. Unauthorized flight, unsafe construction, reckless endangerment. They called for an investigation. Clara received a notice. She was to cease operation of the F-47 until it could be inspected. But she knew what that meant. They wanted to confiscate it to bury what she had built. That night, as the rain poured down, she looked at her creation under the tarp and made a choice. If they wanted to take her wings, they'd have to catch her in the sky. At dawn, she rolled the F-47 back onto the strip, and this time she wasn't just going to fly. She was going to vanish. The morning air was cold and electric. Authorities arrived too late. By the time they reached the airfield, the F-47 was already in the sky, climbing higher than ever before. Clara had modified it again, stripped unnecessary weight, refined the thrust. It moved like it was alive. She wasn't running away. She was proving something. Over the radio, traffic control demanded she land immediately. She ignored them. The F-47 broke through the cloud layer, rising until the earth below was a hazy swirl of blue and white. For a moment, it seemed like she disappeared into the heavens. But then something extraordinary happened. Witnesses from nearby towns reported seeing the F-47 perform a maneuver that defied logic. A full inverted climb, followed by a spin recovery so precise, even military pilots couldn't replicate it. Aviation boards scrambled. The federal authorities wanted answers. When she finally landed hours later at a remote field, waiting journalists swarmed. She stepped out of the cockpit, calm, unshaken. Cameras flashed. "How did you build it?" They shouted. "Where did you learn to fly?" She simply smiled, wiping grease from her hands. "You don't need permission to chase the sky," she said quietly, though most couldn't hear over the noise. The F-47 was later studied by engineers who admitted they couldn't fully understand how it flew so efficiently. Its unique hybrid system, a blend of piston and jet principles, was ahead of its time. Clara never sought a patent or recognition. Instead, she returned to Willow Creek, quietly tending her workshop, occasionally seen gazing at the horizon. Flight schools now cited her as a case study in innovation. The same people who once mocked her now told her story as legend. And somewhere in the hills, when the wind was right, people swore they could still hear the faint roar of the F-47 echoing across the valley. Years passed, and Clara's legend grew. Aspiring pilots visited her for guidance, though she rarely spoke about her past. What mattered wasn't fame or validation, it was the message she left behind, that boundaries were illusions built by those afraid to fail. When she passed away quietly at 67, the town held a small memorial. But the story didn't end there. Months later, during a routine expansion of the old airfield, workers discovered something buried near the edge of the runway, a sealed metal box. Inside were blueprints, signed F-47 Reverend 2. Alongside them, a note in Clara's handwriting, "For the next dreamer." The discovery reignited her story worldwide. Universities studied her designs, and historians called her the mother of modern independent aviation. No longer was she the simple woman from Willow Creek. She was the pioneer who proved that flight isn't granted by institutions. It's claimed by will. And as documentaries, videos, and tributes poured in, one thing became clear. Clara Hensley hadn't just built a plane. She built a legacy that would never touch the ground again, and that's how one determined woman changed the skies forever. If Clara's story inspired you, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more unbelievable real-life stories. Remember, every dream starts grounded until someone decides to fly.